In this session, we're going to look at applying CSS rules to our web page. We're going to be looking at applying classes, also applying CSS styles to div tags, and also start looking at structural tags of HTML and applying them to those as well. First of all, we're going to start with the very first tag, which is the body tag, which is a structural tag, and applying a rule to that. So first of all, make sure that you've got a global CSS created, and you can see a previous video for that. And we're going to start by selecting the body tag. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you close the palette set that's below the properties page and then adjust the properties to slide up. You may start with this sort of view and uncheck this box here to show the full sets. We can move between the sets by clicking on the layout, the text structure, or you can actually then start going to borders, etc. So this will help you navigate around. We would like to start applying some style rules to the tag, in particular the HTML body tag, and these are rules that will be for the entire HTML body. So where the body starts here and ends here, anything in between those will be associated with this rule that we set up here. So one of the first things we actually want to do is actually apply, say, a font tag. So we can actually head to the T for the text, head to font family, and in here we can then select the font family that we would like to use. I'm going to use Gotham, but if you want more fonts, you can click on more fonts and go through and select the fonts that you want and set up your own families, etc. I'm just going to click on done and go through once again and pick the Gotham family set. So this is now given us a set of fonts that will apply to our page. So if I move into design view, this is some text. You'll notice it's a different font to what we had before, which was Arial. If I change the body tag, so once again I'm going to select the body tag over here, the T to go to text, and if I change that now to Lucidia, you notice that the font changed automatically. So I'm going to leave it at Gotham at the moment, and you can see the font change back. Another thing we can actually do is change the font size. So we can head down to font size, and we can set that to a size if you want to. I like to work with pixels and say 14 pixels. From here we can also work with line height. In this case I like to work with 1.5 EM. And this gives us our height between the bottom and the top. And we can also set a text color, which in our case can be a grey, and you can either use the selector to pick a color, and you can see the hexadecimal color at the bottom. You can go to red, green, blue, alpha, which is the more modern way of actually doing colors. And then if you wanted to, you can actually select the color by actually typing in the color itself. So working with hexadecimal, we could actually use the standard type grey, which is 5A, 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 and change that to red, green, blue, alpha channel, and press enter. So you notice now that that's written the more modern color arrangement for us, and this will adjust the color text to that color as well. Now once we've done this, we can then go work on a background. To do this, I'm going to select on the background, and in here I can actually set a background color. So if I wanted to, I could just set any color I like and press enter, and the background color automatically changes to that. Or I can have none, so I'm going to delete that and actually put in a background image. So you should have selected a background image, but in this case here there are some asset files in the shared directory, or you can download your own image and navigate through to where our asset folders are, and if you need to, you can download these off the website. Select a background tile. In our case here we've got several selections. We've got a black tile we could use, a black woven tile we could use, or a grey. I'm going to select the grey and click on open, and this puts a grey tile, repetitive tile, in the background of our web page. Now notice that these files are linked and moved from the CSS file up a level into the assets file to where grey.jpg is stored. Now with backgrounds you can actually have different repeats. You can have it repeat, only repeat X, repeat Y going down the page, X is across, Y is down, only one tile, or in our case we're going to have all the tiles. Now what we're going to do is ensure that the web browser has not placed any padding or any default margins around the objects to make sure they sit together. So our margins are all set to 0, our padding inside of the margin is set to 0, and the position is set to auto. Now that we've created a set of CSS rules for our body tag, let's go ahead and create a few more while we're here. So let's create a headline rule and also our link tags. To create a new headline rule, what we're going to do is click on the plus for the selector. Then we need to identify the tag, so we're going to use H1. Now you notice with the H tag there's H1 through to 6. What we're going to be working with the biggest one, which is the largest heading tag, which is H1. You can either type it in or select it. Now these rules, or the properties that we apply now, will be assigned to the H1 rule. And the very first thing we want to do is actually change the actual font. So I'm going to click on the font tab again, head down to the font family, and this time I'm actually going to use Impact as my font. Now at the moment there's no text selected or anything, so we can't see how this font's working, but it will be applied to anything that uses a H1 tag in our body. Remember, as you go along, to save as you go, so remember to go Command S or go File, Save All. We're going to choose a font size of 24 pixels. And you can either slide it by clicking and moving left and right, or you can type it in by hand. And for the color, we're going to use an orange color. So you can either go through and select it, or you can type in the hexadecimal color, FD6A51. Now we're going to create another rule for our heading level 2. So once again we're going to go up and click the plus sign, we're going to put H, and I'm just going to select 2 and then click add. Now it's given us the ability to do that, and what we want to do to these properties for anything with a H2 tag is add a font family to it. So once again I'm going to click on the text tool, I'm going to add the impact again. I'm also going to give it a color, and this time the color is going to be a little bit different, and we're going to use hash 333333, which is a very dark gray, and press enter. We're also going to have an 18 pixel font size, so I'm going to go 18, select pixels and type in here, go 18, enter. And we would also like to have a bottom margin of -10 pixels. So we're going to head back up to margins, and at the bottom in here put -10 and press enter. So you can actually see it creating down here with that font family, color, font size, and also margin. If we wanted to, we could type them in here, but it seems using the CSS designer helps us build things quickly. So our H2, our second heading, or the slightly smaller than the H1 heading, will ensure that we've got a really nice dark font, being 333333, slightly smaller font size from 24 down to 18, and -10 on the margin, bringing text closer to the actual line itself, so there's not such a large gap. It also gives us an opportunity to use negative numbers for our margins as well. So now let's apply a style to our links. To do this, we're going to add one to our attribute table. So we're going to click on A and select A, and we want to change the font color for this. So I'm just going to press enter, head down to my font colors, I'll click the T, and once again we're going to give it that dark gray again. So to ensure that I get the right gray rather than trying to color select it out, I'm going to use the 333333. Also, for our lists and links, we don't want the blue lines, etc. Underneath text decoration, we want to make sure there is none. So you can see in our CSS, text decoration is none. So that means any of our links or lists won't have a line underneath it and turn blue. So far we've set up styles to govern the look of our HTML tags, such as body, H1, H2, and the attribute tag, to ensure that we don't get blue lines when we declare links. We can also set up custom classes. Custom classes are like adjectives. They can be applied to any HTML element. In the selector panel, or CSS designer panel, click on the plus sign to start a new style. In this case, to define a class, we use the full stop, and we're going to enter the name selected and press enter. So this has created a new class for us, .selected. And what we'd like to do is change the color of this by giving it its own unique color. So once again, click on the text. So after it's been selected, we want to use the following color. We want to use FD 6A51. So it gives us an orangey color when it's been selected. So this orange color will override the attribute color, or the A333333, the dark gray, with an orange, showing that we've selected this link before. So now we can go up and actually look at our code of our CSS. And you can see that we've created a body, a H1, an attribute tag, and a H2. But we can also manually create our own. So here we can manually add a CSS, and what we would like to do is add a rollover state for our link. So what we're going to add is a pseudo class. So what we're going to do is enter in a:hover, and then we can open up a brace and press enter. So it's automatically got an open and close. So here, and I'll just copy and paste this up. So I'm just going to cut this out of here. I move it up and put it just underneath the A. So what it's looking at is the A class, which is here, but a method which is hover. So when the mouse goes over the link, we can actually change the color of the link that we're going to select. So I'm going to put in here color, and then a colon, and then I can actually set the color. So once again, I can use the hash symbol, or if I wanted to, go to RGBA, but we're going to use the hexadecimal, so I'm just going to go the hash symbol, and then put in the hover color I would like, which is FD6A51, which is the orange color we've used before. Now it doesn't matter if it's in capitals and lowercase, but it's a good idea that you be consistent with your hexadecimal coloring. So in this case, I'm using all uppercase. So when we roll over our links, they'll all turn this color orange from this color gray. Remember to add your semicolon to the end of each line. And now what you need to do is save your global CSS. So go to File and Save All. And now we can go back to Split View. And in our next video, we'll look at applying these styles that we've created to our HTML page.